everyone, Allie here from The Family Meeple, and welcome back to our 2022 Advent Board Game Countdown. Today we are going to be talking about number 3 on the list. So what is this list? This is a list of the 24 best new to me games that I played in 2022. The games don't have to be from 2022, in fact the majority of them were not. All they had to do was be a game that I played for the first time in 2022. All right, so without further ado, this is number 3 on the list for this year, and it is Praga Caput Regni. Praga Caput Regni was designed by Vladimir Suchy with artwork by Milan Vavron. It was published by Delicious Games and distributed here as well in the States by Rio Grande Games. Praga Caput Regni is the second game that I have played by Vladimir Suchy, the first one being Underwater Cities. I did eventually end up picking up Underwater Cities and really enjoyed it. So when I heard about Praga Caput Regni from the same designer, I was definitely intrigued. After watching a few playthroughs, I picked up Praga Caput Regni because it can be played solo. This was one that was included on my most recent solo challenge as well. There's several of them on this list that were included on my solo challenges. And I just recently finished this one for my 5th place. Now, Praga Caput Regni, the solo mode in particular, which is actually the only way I've played it, I have not played it multiplayer, but the solo mode actually has 2 different options. There's one option in the official rulebook that comes in the box where you essentially are just playing the game on your own. You're going to be advancing the action selection wheel on every other, like after you take a turn, you'll take a tile and rotate the wheel to progress it and play it as a 2-player game. But there's no one else interacting with you, and you essentially are just trying to do everything that you would do in a normal game without anyone else at the table. There's also a second solo mode that was officially published by the designer and the publisher Delicious Games. It's available on their website to download, and it has a rule sheet and then 5 cards that you need to print out. So you print out the cards, they give you both a front and a back. I just ended up printing them, cutting them out and then sleeving them in some card sleeves, and those will dictate the AI actions on their turns. So it simulates a little bit more of a 2-player game, although it still is just a beat your own score. So one of the things that I loved about Praga Caput Regni was how tight of an efficiency puzzle this game is. And if you've been following along on this series, you will know that games that are an efficiency puzzle are at the top of my list. A lot of the ones that I've been talking about, particularly in this top 10, that's the number one thing that I like about the game, is that it forces you to think through your decisions, make your decisions carefully, because you only have a set number of actions throughout the game, and you don't want to waste any of them. And Praga Caput Regni is definitely one of these games where you do not want to waste any of your actions. It reminds me a lot of playing The Magnificent, which is also a beat your own score solo mode, but it has a target goal. So in the rulebook, it's going to tell you that they think a good score is, I think it's 140 points. It's similar in The Magnificent, where they gave you that target score and said, here's a good score, this is what you should be able to beat. In Praga Caput Regni, that is a pretty challenging score. And in my 5 plays, I only managed to beat it once. But in the game, essentially what you're doing is you are going to be selecting a tile from this gear wheel at the top of the board. So there are different tiles, and each of the tiles have 2 possible actions on them. I think in the game there's 6 total actions that you can take at all. That's it. There's 6 actions, and each of the tiles will have 2 actions. On the basic side of these tiles, they're always paired together in the same way, and there's 3 tiles, different tiles, and then 2 copies of each. So you will select a tile from this action wheel, and depending on where the tile is located on the action wheel, it will tell you whether the tile is free to take or if you're going to have to pay gold to take it if it's further back on the wheel, meaning it was used more recently, or if people are just not selecting it. As this wheel shifts on each of the turns, you can actually gain victory points for taking an action that nobody wanted. Along with the action tile, on this wheel are bonus actions in the center. So you'll get the bonus action. You can take it in any order. You can do the main action first, the bonus action second, or the other way around. It doesn't matter. So you will pick one of these tiles and you will select on that tile one of the 2 actions that are available. You'll carry out that action, and then you will have the option to spend windows to either take an additional bonus action, or you can move up on 2 tracks, which are the cathedral and I think it's the hunger wall. I don't remember exactly. But as you're moving up on these different tracks, you're going to be gaining benefits, you're going to be gaining victory points. You're also going to be able to take actions like upgrading your actions. So all of the basic actions have the ability to be upgraded. So then when you take that action, not only do you take the action normally, but you'll get some sort of benefit from doing it. You can build walls. So you can contribute to building walls in Prague, and those will have different abilities on them. There's a little bit of tile placement as you place these around your personal board that has your upgrade tiles that you add to it, and then these wall tiles that you add to it, and you can match up symbols on these tiles to get additional resources or bonuses. You can increase your stone and gold quarries. You can produce gold and stone, which are the resources in the game. You can build different locations out into the city on the bottom of the board. So you're going to be spending gold and spending stone to build these different places out into the city. There's also tile placement bits with that, where if you match up certain corners, then you're going to gain tokens, which will help you scoring in the end of the game. You can also place cubes out on some of them, and there's a little bit of area majority in the city. So if you have the most cubes on these locations that you've built out into the city around these marketplaces, then you'll get bonuses when those markets are completely surrounded. So there's all kinds of things going on in this game. You can move up on the wall and you will get bonuses for doing that. You can spend eggs to get additional bonuses. Once you get to the end, you can start building the King Charles Bridge and you'll get bonuses for doing that. And there's end game scoring bonuses that you can get. There's just so many little things to think about when you're playing this game that it's always keeping me engaged. I'm always thinking about, okay, if I do this action on this turn, then what can I do on the next turn? And in the solo mode, the Peter Parler version, which has the AI cards, will help to kind of cycle through the tiles that are on display as you're buying the upgrades and the walls and the city tiles and you're building these. The AI player is also going to be building those. So there will be a marker on one of those tiles, and so you'll know that if they take that action, which one they're going to take away. For the upgrades in the wall, they're just going to discard it back to the pile, but for the buildings, they're actually going to build those into the city and compete with you in the area majorities. So it's a lot of fun. It's very thinky. It's one of those games where you don't really want to be interrupted while you're playing. You'll forget what you were doing and forget what your plan was. But it is just one of the highlights of my year for sure, was playing Praga Caput Regni. If you enjoyed Underwater Cities and you liked the tightness of not wasting any of your turns and any of your actions, I would recommend checking out Praga and see if you like it as well. I certainly did, and I'm looking forward to checking out the rest of the games from Vladimir Sushi. I've really been impressed with the 2 that I've played, and I'm hoping to play more, hopefully in 2023. So that is my number 3 new to me game from 2022, Praga Caput Regni. Thanks so much for joining us again today. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to our channel. You can also follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We hope that you are enjoying your holiday season and you will join us back tomorrow as we continue our countdown to number 1 on Christmas Eve. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a great day. Bye.